Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. I mean, seriously, it does not work without you guys. Sorry I'm not in my man cave, but I'll be back there this afternoon. We'll be live streaming tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, as we get ready to take on the Rams. And I'm actually here at my in-laws' house, and I'm working on finishing off the bathroom so that way they can move down on the main level here. Bathroom's just about done. Just got to do a little touch-up painting and move some stuff out of the room that's going to become the bedroom down here. And last night, I kept tossing and turning. My shoulder was killing me. My rotator cuff is, I just could not get comfortable. And something just kept gnawing at me. I kept thinking about Jason Garrett doing the motivational video last night. And see, here's the thing. I've always said Jason Garrett reminds me of a little league coach. You know what I mean? You know, the team is like 0-8. It's the end of the year. You've got the banquet. Johnny, we know you only played 3 plays and you had 2 fumbles on all 3 of them, but it's okay, man. Here's your participation trophy. We'll get them next year. Way to go, Johnny. That's the feel that I've always gotten from Jason Garrett. And see, for me, the Cowboys always seem to be more reactive than proactive in making decisions. They end up holding on to things for too long. And see, my thing is this, in looking at Jason Garrett and thinking of him as a Little League coach, I've seen guys just make stupid, just dumb penalties. You know, the guy's already down on the ground and you end up getting a late hit, that costs you 15 yards after they've already run 25 yards. So now you've exacerbated the problem. You've made it even worse. And see, the player just walk right past Jason Garrett and him either clap and say, don't worry about it, man. Just, get your head in the game, or say nothing. I've seen times where players have lost their cool, like Greg Hardy, going after his teammates and coaches and everything else. And Jason Garrett goes the other way. And then the motivational speech, motivational video, that was really like, guys, we were once good. We can get back to that. Yeah. It seems like Jason Garrett is on his last leg, that this may finally be where we get change. But I'm going to tell you, I went back through and I watched the season-ending press conference from Jason Garrett 2 days after the Rams. And this press conference will tell you everything and every problem that there is with the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, I'm not in my man cave, and hopefully the heat doesn't kick back on, because when it comes back on, it's kind of loud. My computer is not real loud, so hopefully you guys can hear this. But let's start with Jason Garrett after losing to the Rams, coming to the podium, smiling. Okay. Does that look like a man that just got knocked out of the playoffs? Doesn't that look like a Super Bowl winning smile?
At the moment, as far as the evaluation of your staff and that process, and can you say that Scott and Rod will both be back in the same capacity?
Yeah, everything, it's still pretty immediate right now. I mean, obviously, we played the game on Saturday night, so the order of business over the last 2 days, I've been in player interviews. We've probably interviewed 65 or so of our players, and that's really been our focus. We're going to have our first real staff meeting here when I get done with the press conference, and we'll talk about all of that staff stuff. So we haven't had any substantive conversations in regards to our staff at all. There are some guys who are out of contract, so we'll have to address those situations. And one of the things that we always talk about is the makeup of the staff. A lot of the decisions impact the other decisions that you make. So we haven't had any conversations about any of that stuff up to this point. I feel really good about the job our staff did this year. And we had a young football team, and I thought they responded well to our guys coaching them, the individual position coaches, our coordinators, the environment that was created to help this team grow. And we'll go back and evaluate our whole team and every part of it. We obviously have to get better. We have to build on some of the good stuff we did. We have to address some of the issues that we have. That applies to players, that applies to coaches, that applies to everybody in the organization.
What I'm curious about is the difference what you said this morning on the radio. Did something change in between? Because this morning you said that you back to Scott?
Yeah, again, we haven't had any substantive conversations. Scott did an excellent job for us this year. Again, I don't know how I answered that question this morning.
What?
Nothing has changed. Again,
Scott did a good job for us last year.
Very good about what Scott Linehan did for us.
I said it twice.
Rod Marinelli, Chris Richard have done, Keith O'Quinn, and everybody on our staff. We'll have conversations about everybody as we go here the next few days, and we'll make a lot of decisions to put the staffs together and put our team together as we go.
Jason, do you have fun with throwdown who is on your staff?
This is key.
Like with everything, they're all collaborative decisions. I do not own the team. Jerry Jones owns the team, so ultimately he has final say over everything we do. But I do believe our
Okay, the heat just came back on, so it's going to be hard to hear. So, here's the thing. You just lost to the Rams 2 days ago. You got close, really close. Did you see him when he came to the podium with the smile? Hi, guys. What are you happy about? What are you happy about? You're satisfied with that? Okay, that's thing number one. Thing number two, understand this is Monday. He's praising Scott Linehan and says, we anticipate everybody coming back. We anticipate everybody. Didn't say it once about Scott Linehan, said it twice. We feel good about the job that Scott Linehan has done. To tell you how bad a job Scott Linehan has done, think about this. Adam Gase with the Miami Dolphins got fired with that team being abysmal. Immediately got a job with the Jets. Has Scott Linehan gotten another job, even with the high school team? Yet you were praising him and talking about how good a job he did. Okay, all right. Be that as it may. The key point in this, and I wish I could have played more of it, but you can hear the heat, and it's kind of loud, is he says that like everything we do, it's a collaborative effort because I do not own the team. Now, I can't say if Jason Garrett had full autonomy of the team, if he would be a better coach. I can't say. I don't know. I still think that the actual play calling, Jerry Jones has two suites. He's got his main entertaining suite that probably fits 150 people and stuff. You know, it's got plenty of the good stuff in there, things. And then there's an elevator that rides up to the GM suite, which is a small, intimate one that has a phone that you can call down to the field. It's right above the other one. There's an elevator between the two. That's the GM suite. I have not seen Jerry Jones in that GM suite much, and I have not seen Jerry Jones on the sidelines like he used to. I would like to think that play calling individual plays and down and distance, that unless Jerry Jones is telepathically sending in the calls, then it's actually up to them to make those calls. It may be that Jerry Jones sets a tone and a style that, I'm paying Zeke Elliott a lot of money, so I want to make sure he gets the ball. But I don't know that he's making the calls on each individual play. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not there. I wish I were there and could look at this and just say, hey, can I give you a few recommendations? But the fact that you thought that Scott Linehan did a good job, it was 2 days later, or actually 1 day later, that Stephen Jones gave him the side eye, like, you're satisfied? Because when I saw this originally, I was like, what are you smiling about? As a Cowboy fan, I was upset because I looked at it as a team that was hot going into playoffs. And I looked at the same mistakes that we had over. I had a bad taste in my mouth. Jason Garrett didn't look like he had a bad taste in his mouth. He looked satisfied. Hey, we won a playoff game. This is my second. And that's where Stephen Jones was kind of like, what the F? You're satisfied with this? It immediately made him fire Scott Linehan. But see, this is the problem. We thought there was a problem with the play calling for quite a while. You could go back to the Atlanta game where the Dallas Cowboys literally lost Tyron Smith, okay? And you have Chaz Green, who is one-on-one against Claiborne, and Claiborne is eating him for lunch. He's eating him for lunch. And yet, you don't keep the running back to help block. You don't put the tight end on him. You don't get out of that play calling and evolve to what's happening on the field. You could, if that had been Tony Romo would have been killed. He would have been broken in half. You can't react to situations. And here it is. We had these issues with Scott Linehan the year before. You go through another year before you realize, well, there's a problem with Scott Linehan. We hold on to things too long. And if Jerry Jones is the one that's saying, Jason Garrett, I'm holding on to him, and you're going to hold on to Scott Linehan, then it doesn't matter who you bring in. You might as well keep Jason Garrett, because you've got to let somebody sink or swim on their own. You can't be there to hold their hand the whole way, or you just need to go ahead and run it your damn self. But unless we change these things, and here's where you wonder, because this is throughout the Dallas Cowboys thing. This whole thing is just like the light bulb went on. The way you hold on to Jason Garrett is the way you sometimes hold on to players. Sometimes you need to let a player walk to get better, no matter what they've done on the field. I want you to think back to DeMarco Murray, because a lot of people are like, you can't let that guy go. No, we can't let him go. He'll go win a Super Bowl someplace else. But understand, letting go of DeMarco Murray gave us a compensatory pick. And do you know what we used that compensatory pick for? Dak Prescott. Had it not been for DeMarco Murray leaving, Dak Prescott wouldn't be here. And if DeMarco Murray had been here, you wouldn't have drafted Zeke Elliott. You follow where I'm going here? So sometimes you end up saying, you know what? We have to pay that guy and keep him here. We can't let him go. So hypothetically, and I'm not suggesting that this is what the Cowboys should have done, but in retrospect, would we have been better off if DeMarcus Lawrence walked and you got a third-round compensatory pick and didn't have $100 million in debt? New England lets people walk on a regular. New England doesn't wait for the problems to acerbate and get bigger before they react. As soon as there's a problem there, boom, it's gone. You don't wait for a player who starts having, some issues for it to get big. Michael Bennett, oh, you want to cause some, you want to cause some noise? We'll trade you and get a pick. We know you can play, but it doesn't matter. You're not fitting what we're doing here. It's not personal, it's business. Trey Flowers, hey, great season, buddy. Appreciate it. Have good luck wherever you go. Comes back, compensatory pick. The team that won the Super Bowl had the most picks in the NFL. So we are at a crossroads. We know that Jason Garrett's not the answer and that it's time to move on. But if we continue to run things the same way, we're going to have the same result. Maybe the next coach will, coach just a little bit better, get a couple more wins and things. But ultimately, you need somebody who you can go and say, okay, we got the socks and the jocks. We got the color of the Gatorade. But what happens on the field and players, that's on you, coach. It's the only way that this thing's going to ever work. And while the heat's off, let me go back to this.
Own the team. Jerry Jones owns it. decisions to put the staffs together and put our team together as we go.
Jason, do you have final authority on who gets in and out on your staff?
Like with everything, they're all collaborative decisions. I do not own the team. Jerry Jones owns the team, so ultimately he has final say over everything that we do here. But I do believe our relationship is very collaborative. I have a tremendous amount of faith and trust in him, and I think hopefully he has the same for me. And we talk about all the decisions we make, any player, any coach, and we come to conclusions that we both feel good about. And we'll certainly do that with every decision we make this offseason like we've done over the last number of years.
You or your representative had any in that regard, Jason? You think your voice has gotten louder in that regard the longer you've been head coach?
Again, right from the outset, I feel like we've had a really good relationship, and there are a lot of decisions that you're making in an organization. A lot of decisions. There are a lot of personnel decisions you make, players, coaches, staff members, and it's really important that everyone's voice is heard in that, and you come to a conclusion that everybody feels good about. And I feel like I've had a strong voice from the outset. Certainly Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, the entire Jones family, they had a voice in this, our coaches, our personnel people, and that's really the way we operate. And we'll continue to operate that way. I think when you draw a consensus, that's when the best decisions are made.
Have you or your representative had any discussions with the Jones family about an extension at this point?
No.
Yeah. You think the season-ending press conference, if he's there to do one, will be any different? No. All right, guys. I got to get to work. I'll see you soon.